Well, Pauline, I wanted to ask you about those 15 Queensland towns being taken over. There's a list of them. I've had a letter from a guy called Rex, who's an Aboriginal elder in one of the towns, Tubia, who's saying that he's writing about his concerns about the takeover there of the town common and other land there. It's the birthplace of his mother. He's an Aboriginal elder. He wasn't consulted. It's been taken. In other words, one mob takes it over and yet another mob believes that it belongs to them, and probably with justification in this case. And we've seen this before. As you say, the threat to sovereignty, to sovereign rights and so on seems to be out of control.
It is out of control. Since Mabo and the Wick decision, the whole thing has just blown completely out of proportion. And they brought in the Native Title Act in 1991 in Queensland. Now, since that time, they've actually handed over 6.7 million hectares freehold Crown land to Aboriginal groups and organisations. Apart from that, Rowan, John Howard put $1 billion into a fund in perpetuity to actually buy land as well. Then you've got native title claim. In Queensland alone, we've got 73 native title claims. 54% of Australia is now under native title, plus another 12% to be determined. This only came to light because the people of Tubia wrote to every politician. I was the only one that responded to them. I went out, I met the locals. They told me they had no consultation for about 3 years, and it came to light because one of the locals wanted to buy some land, was denied it. I spoke to Lawrence Springborg, who was the mayor, who was a former president of the LNP. He was all for it. It was kept undercover. He told me under state legislation there does not have to be consultation with the locals in the area. It must be kept secretive. This is what's happening in 15 towns throughout Queensland, Maryborough, Mount Isa, Tubias, all these towns, there's 15 of them. People want to know it, please go to our website and we'll inform you about it. But it is disgusting what is happening. One Nation is the only party who's prepared to actually throw the Native Title Act in Queensland out. We are the only ones who are standing up for it. Christopher Foley and the Labor Party are all for treaty. They are all for handing this land over to Aboriginal groups and organisations. Just recently, last week, 484,000 hectares was handed over, just 250 kilometres from Tennant Creek. Now, this is going on continually all the time. It is dividing our nation. It is pitting black against white. I have always stood up for migrants, those born here, Aboriginals, Torres Strait Islanders. We are all Australians, have a right to enjoy this country, everything that it has to offer equally. But I'll tell you another thing too. By getting hold of the land, and under the Labor and the Coalition Party a few years ago, they actually then passed the Land and Sea Council. Now they've handed rights to the Commonwealth waters plus water above and below the ground, and they'll be looking at as well, so they have a right over that. We are in huge problems with this. This is the major political parties have done this to divide this nation. I'm warning the people, we are the only ones who will put a stop to this and make sure that every Australian, regardless of your cultural background, that we are actually entitled to this country and not shut out from it or have to pay rent or tax on it.
Fantastic. Pauline Hanson, always great to chat to you. Thanks so much, and some wonderful insights there.